स्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्रवैत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। Hare Krishna. So, welcome all of you in today's session. So, we continue our discussions from fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. First, we will complete fifth chapter and then we proceed to also the sixth chapter. So, in the fifth chapter, we have been discussing contents. So, three sections we have completed. You can see on my screen. We talked about how Karma Yoga is superior to renouncing the work Karma Sannyas. We also talked about the description of Nishkam Karma Yogi, how while doing the activities by his knowledge acquiring senses, Jnanendriyas, or working senses, Karmendriyas, how such person, he just remains detached completely and he sees it as interaction of body and the modes, and that's why he doesn't consider himself as the doer of the activities. So this Nishkam Karma Yogi is working in a detached manner, that was also discussed. And then Krishna switched the subject matter on Kartritva, the doership. So who is the doer? When the Jiva is acting, when the living entity is acting, so we saw that there is doership talked from multiple levels, multiple angles. So sometimes Paramatma is said to be the doer, sometimes Jivatma, living entity, is said to be the doer, sometimes material nature is said to be doer. The crux of the matter is that Jivatma desires, Paramatma sanctions, material nature provides. So from those different angles, if the kartrutva, if the doership is assigned, so we should understand that particular kind of angle that is spoken. So in this manner. So now Krishna goes ahead and now speaks about vision of Jnani or Paramatmavadi in the verses 17 to 26. And then finally, he introduces the next chapter's content in the last section from verses 27-28 and final. So let's see these verses now. So text 17. Tadbuddhayastadaatmanas tannishthasthatparayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Okay. Now someone can read the translation for the rest of the chapter.
Yes.
Yes, please. Whoever wishes to read.
Prabhuji,
No. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation.
Yeah, thank you. Tad buddhayas tadatmanas tannishthas tatparayana. So, such a Nishkam Karma Yogi, he applies his intelligence, his mind completely in the Supreme. Tan nishthas tat parayana. And such a person is very devoted to the path of, he has great faith in the path of Supreme, and he is also very devoted, tat parayana. So, such a person, even on the path of, we see Nishkam Karma Yoga, there is understanding of the Supreme Lord, there is understanding of Paramatma. It's not that they only speak about Brahman. So they also study and speak about Paramatma and attachment to Paramatma, like that. So when they become in this way attached to the Supreme Truth, so then we see that they become completely cleansed from all the misgivings, and then this proceeds straight on the path of liberation. So as far as devotees are concerned, we can learn from this that our mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge should be in Krishna. Our mind, intelligence, so engaging our mind in Krishna and engaging our intelligence in Krishna. What would be the difference? Anyone wants to say? What does that mean? Engaging our mind in Krishna and engaging our intelligence in Krishna. Is there a difference there? Yes. You don't see any difference in that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat.
Dandot Pranam.
Prabhuji, see, as I can look at it, see, the functions of intelligence is distinction and determination.
Yes.
So, and the functions of mind are thinking, feeling, and willing.
Yes.
So, as we have read in third chapter, the soul should direct the intelligence, and the intelligence should direct the mind, not the other way around.
Hmm.
So, generally, what happens in the material world, the senses drive the mind, and the mind drives the intelligence. So, with our intelligence, if we can distinguish between what is the right path, like the Krishna consciousness is the right path, and attachment to material world is the nescience. So, with that intelligence, if we can control the mind, then automatically the senses are controlled, Prabhuji. So intelligence is most important. So if we can fix our intelligence in Krishna consciousness, then subsequently mind and senses also can be fixed in Krishna consciousness. This, I think, is my...
Yeah. Yes, you are there. You are there to some point. Yeah. Uh, you spoke about functions of mind and intelligence, so which is fine, which is right. I'm asking, if I tell that, okay, engage your mind in Krishna and engage your intelligence in Krishna, what is the way that you will do it? If we want to engage someone's mind in Krishna, how will we engage it? And if we want to engage someone's intelligence in Krishna, how do we do that? So if the functions are clear, the engagement also should be clear. See, it is very simple. It's not at all difficult. You engage your intelligence by hearing about Krishna, by studying scriptures, by doing Shravanam, by speaking about Krishna, understanding philosophy, understanding Krishna Leela, Krishna Tattva. That is the way to engage intelligence. Because Buddhi has the nature of distinction, it has the nature of discrimination, and then based on that, it can avoid determination. So what you said is right. But yes, the practical way of engaging we are talking about. So that's the way you engage intelligence. By studying Shastra, by hearing Shastra, by discussing Krishna Leela, Krishna Tattva, all these aspects. while engaging the mind in Krishna, when you study Shastra, it is not like engaging the mind, it is more engaging intelligence. But engaging the mind is investing the emotions in Krishna, investing the emotions in devotees of Krishna. That is called engaging the mind. So, one thing is engaging the mind is also, when we do any activity, we obviously engage the mind in Krishna, that is there, but especially mind means, you want to please devotees. Your happiness and distress, they depend upon pleasure and displeasure of devotees. We want devotees to be happy. So that's engaging the mind. The ideas of our happiness and distress, they come from Krishna's pleasure and, if we are pleasing Krishna or not. Based on that, our happiness and distress come. So whenever we speak about mind, remember these two things. What is the sense object of the mind? It is happiness and distress. So, sukha, dukkha, emotions. So we invest our emotions in Krishna. We should not serve Krishna mindlessly. We serve Krishna with emotion. So how do we practically invest emotions? So we want to actually please Krishna. We don't want to displease him. We want to please him in a way that it is very, it is best service, right? Uh, Someone can serve Krishna like a pujari is dressing Krishna. So he may dress the Lord in a quick way, in like basically he's put the clothes on the Lord. That's it, done. What more? Uh, but another way is investing your mind, emotion, meaning you want to dress him in such a way that Krishna, who is already so beautiful, looks even more beautiful. His beauty comes out. Uh, that is called investing the mind. You want to cook for devotees, so you can cook, right? Some suppose sabji, chapati, dal, rice is to be cooked. That's it. Chapati is there, sabji is there. But you want to cook in a way that the best sabji you want to cook, the best way you want to cook the dal. That is called as investing the mind, the emotion, like that. So there is a desire to please. There is a desire to uh, give the pleasure to the heart of Krishna, Guru, devotees. That's the point. So, in that way, we can engage our mind like that. And then, obviously, for controlling the mind and all, we chant Hare Krishna. That's the meaning of mantra. Mananatrayate mantra. That which purifies by repeated chanting is called mantra, like that. So, that is fine, but especially engaging the mind, engaging the intelligence. Having faith in Krishna means that we accept Krishna as our greatest well-wisher, devotees as our greatest well-wisher. But taking refuge in Krishna is different. Four words actually, but they have a ton of meaning in it. Mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge. So refuge means we practically see that devotee association is like our life and soul. If we go out of association, we feel like we are suffocating. And we are in the association, we look forward to association. We look forward to coming together, the programs of Krishna consciousness, the festivals, association. That is called refuge. We take refuge in Krishna. Like imagine some, they say also refuge area, right? In a huge building or apartment. If some fire breaks out, so then there is some safe area, also called as a refuge area. Uh, so this refuge area is where, everyone can gather and feel protected from that fire or like that. So similarly, the association of devotees is like our refuge. We feel uh, away from the suffocation of the material world, we feel greatly happy, sheltered in that association, right? Like when, we go for some yatras like that of spiritual master, and then, hundreds, thousands of devotees may be there in that yatra. And we feel so happy in that association, so joyful. So when you are leaving that association, practically we feel like right, our heart becomes broken-hearted to leave such an association. So that is actually taking refuge, where we feel like without this association, I cannot survive. So then we see that such a devotee is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings. So Prabhupada, as I said, Prabhupada speaks about bhakti process all the time. In all these verses, although Nishkam Karma Yoga is being spoken, Prabhupada goes on speaking about Bhakti Yoga, and we can relate also that to Bhakti Yoga. Like here we spoke about how our mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge can be in Krishna, that way. So such a devotee then makes the progress on the path of going back to Godhead. So how such a person, Nishkam Karma Yogi, attains the equal vision that is mentioned? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapake Cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, anyone who wants to read.
The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater outcast.
Yes. So Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapake Cha Pandita Samdarsh. So such personalities then, such practitioners of Nishkam Karma Yoga or the devotees, so then they become Samadarshana, they have the equal vision. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So although they have great knowledge of Shastra, but they also have Vinaya. See, it's very important, right? Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Vidya, meaning the knowledge of Shastra, should also give the humility. No, it should give humility. It's not like we become proud by the knowledge. Bigger the knowledge, bigger the pride. It should not be like that. Vidya Vinayena Shobhate. The knowledge looks good when the humility is there. Isn't it? Namanti Farita Vraksha. It is said. Namanti Gunina Jana. So the the tree bearing fruits, they bow down. Similarly, those who have good qualities, they also become very humble people, like that. So vrikshas or other trees or the people with good qualities, they become very humble. A tree bearing fruits bows down. Similarly, such devotees, or if we are referring this to Nishkam Karma Yogi, then we see that they become very humble people. And they see everyone with equal vision. Like in a Brahmana, in a cow, in an elephant, in a dog, or in a dog eater. They see that existence of Paramatma. And in that way, they have equal vision. So they see existence of Paramatma. That is very, very important. So this is a very important point in path of bhakti also, that we should respect everyone, especially path of bhakti is a path of respect. And in this path of respect, we see that there is recognition of Paramatma in everyone's heart. So we may deal differently with different people, See, when we say that equal vision, it doesn't mean that, so some dog is there, so just as we are embracing devotees, so we start embracing a dog also. That's not equal vision. So equal vision is understanding the spiritual equality, but also material inequality. At the level of body, a certain conduct has to be shown also. Right? Every varna ashram has a certain conduct. So one great, somebody who is self-realized sage, he may see everyone equally, but it is not that he behaves with everyone equally. Like you can, embrace a devotee, but you can't embrace a tiger, uh, although tiger also has Paramatma in the heart, right? So the way to respect a tiger is by keeping a distance. Some animals like dogs, they should not enter the house. Or some, we see that some persons like Chandal and all that, Shvapaka, one who cooks the dog is called Shvapaka. So, now such people, because they are leading a life which is not acceptable as per Vedic principle, so then they should not be allowed to come, near altar, or what to speak of entering altar or like that. No question, right? Uh, so what I'm trying to say here is there is samadarshita, there is equal vision, but that doesn't mean we become, we lose all sense of discretion. That should not happen. So we respect everyone at the spiritual level. But at the material level, there is also distinction. Accordingly, we should behave. Every varna ashram, right? There should be distinction, like a brahmachari. So the way he would deal with Matajis and all, that would be very different than the way a grahastha is dealing with his family members or with his wife or with his relatives and all that. So renounced class has a different set of rules, regulations, the way to behave. Family members may behave in a different way with each other. So there's a difference, all these things. So conduct is there. So here the stress is being given to that aspect of equal vision. So we respect everyone, but we don't disrespect anyone. We give appropriate respect as per appropriate stature in terms of varna ashrama, but it's not like one should be treated with contempt or one should be treated with disrespectfully. Like the temple, everyone can enter the temple, but everyone cannot enter the sanctum sanctorum, the garbhagriha, where the deities are kept. So now, in the name of equal vision, if somebody is saying, why is everyone not allowed in the temple deity room? No, it has a certain rule. You have to be a second initiated Brahmana for that. You have to follow the rules and regulations. You cannot enter without a bath. Even if you are a Brahmana, you cannot enter without a bath. You have to take bath, you have to do achmana, and then only enter the temple room. So, Samadarshita is oftentimes misunderstood by people. They feel like, Samadarshita, equal vision means just accept everyone as equal. So even communism and all, they had these very weird ideas of equality. Everyone is equal. They said like that, but they never followed that. Even in communism, the government officers and all, they would enjoy resources. And the common laborers or peasants, they would never get any access to the resources. So it's a philosophy only in the books. It is never followed. That's why communism failed also terribly. There was so much of revolution against communism. So we follow spiritual equality, material inequality. Varnashrama it sees that everybody is a potential devotee, but it still also has a conduct at the level of Varna and Ashrama. So this is how. If one attains necessary qualification, then one can ask for that particular, right. Like, in India at one point of time, there were some lower castes and all. They were not allowed even in the temple. So that is not right. Everybody should be allowed in the temple for darshan. Why they should not be allowed for darshan? It is not good. So everyone should be allowed for darshan. But you see that somehow that system of varnashrama got very much degraded and all such bogus ideas came in. And that's why a lot of lower varnas and all, they were tortured and so much of problem happened. So that is one extreme where it was done like that. But the other extreme is where even those who are not trained and even those who don't have any idea of any cleanliness standard, anything, and they want to enter into the altar and they want to touch the Lord, they want to, touch the lotus feet of the Lord or like that. Now, that is also not acceptable, right? Uh, so we can't say there that, oh, this is discrimination, why everyone is not being allowed. No. Uh, So people, you see, when it comes to God consciousness or like that, they immediately start crying against discrimination. But you do the same thing in government offices or in, can anyone just go and meet the prime minister, straight away enter into his office? No appointment, nothing. Can one do that? Uh, can one go and just enter into the king's palace in your country? No one can do that, right? So there is certain qualification needed. That is not seen as discrimination. But when in spiritual subjects or in spiritual circles we talk about certain qualification, then that is seen as discrimination. So that is actually quite a, we can see that it's a very, very duplicitous kind of behavior. So Panditaha Samadarshina. The verse is speaking about equal vision, but I'm also giving the other side of it. The equal vision also needs to be properly coupled with, the understanding of who has what adhikar. Uh, Otherwise, we'll have some very simplistic understanding, very superficial understanding of what is equal vision. This way. A Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. Yes, the Brahman and the outcast may be different from social point of view, but these differences of body are meaningless from the point of view of a learned transcendent. He sees that existence of soul and also the super soul in everyone. So he sees that if this person, if he is trained in Krishna consciousness, then this person can also become a devotee. So he sees the potential in everyone. And because of that, he does not disrespect anyone this way. So this is the point of this verse. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and super soul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. So we see that spiritual quality, and that's how we see everyone as the potential devotee. We want to connect them to Krishna as much as possible, like that. So this is why we see that Krishna consciousness, we don't have any bar to engage anyone, right? And do we put a board outside our temple saying that only Brahmanas allowed? No. Only Shudras allowed, only Vaishyas allowed, only Kshatriyas. No, we don't have like that, right? Anyone is allowed. Poor, rich, man, woman, Brahmana, Shudra, everybody is allowed. They can come, they can take darshan, they can have prasadam, they can participate in kirtan, shravanam, everything that way. So that is equal vision. Otherwise, there are many sampradayas also, those who say that only brahmanas can have diksha. Shudras should not be given diksha. Kshatriya birth people, why they are worshipping the deities, they ask such questions. So those are actually, that's not the equal vision. That is a very unequal vision, actually. But Prabhupada gave the real equal vision by allowing opportunity to everyone to become pure and thus then join in Krishna's service. That is the equal vision. So this is how a great learned transcendentalist, he sees in every heart the presence of Paramatma, the Atma and Paramatma. He sees that particular presence. Ihaiva tayarjitah sargo yesham samye sthitam manah nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te sthitah.
Those
Yes.
whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman.
Yeah, thank you. Ihaiva tayarjitah sargo. So one who has that kind of equal vision, one who is seeing everyone and seeing the existence of Paramatma in his heart, for such a person, it is mentioned that in this world itself, he has actually conquered already the material existence. Because it's just matter of time, such a person will attain the liberation, because he's already situated in equanimity. Just as Supreme Lord is nirdosham hi samam brahma. Does Supreme Lord have any partiality? Paramatma or Bhagavan, he does not have any partiality, right? Krishna is ready to give mercy to everyone. Krishna is compared to sun. Any examples? What are the examples to speak about the impartiality of the Lord? Any examples, any of you? If I want to say that Lord is impartial, what are the examples that Prabhupada speaks? Sri Padambuj Prabhu?
Some examples like whether demons or demigods, Lord is equal. Maybe in Bali Maharaj case, we can see this. When I was reading, I could understand that probably. So that is one of the example I'd like.
Yes, yes. It is true that by his dealings with demons and demigods, you see that sometimes demigods win, sometimes demons win, sometimes demons are powerful, sometimes demigods are powerful. So Krishna basically just rewards them as per the modes that are prominent. When passion is more prominent, the asuras are powerful. When the goodness is prominent, devtas are powerful. So based on their karma and based on their particular kind of mode they are in, he blesses. What example Prabhupada gives to show the equanimity of the Lord or his nature of being impartial? Some examples by Prabhupada are famous. Examples means I'm saying analogies. Prabhupada compares Lord's behavior to certain examples, analogies. Like one I spoke
Krishna
myself.
Prabhuji. Hare
Yes, what
Krishna
is
Prabhuji.
yeah?
Prabhuji, regarding the sunlight, is equals come to on each and every object. It is the water is the stool or is the flowers everywhere, Lord. Sunlight is comes equal to everyone. Can we understand, Prabhu?
Correct. That is right. Very nice.
Or
Sun
Prabhu,
example is there.
or Prabhu, here we can understand regarding that Arjuna and Duryodhana, they both went to the Lord for the help. Lord given two options that I am or my that army who want to choose they can choose. Lord is not saying ki Duryodhana ki you did not ready to give 5 villages, so I'm not going to help like that. So he's the
Correct.
equal whoever goes to help to him.
Yeah, that is a good example. Yes, that's right. Lord offered to help
Yes.
both the parties, certainly. So, yes. So you see Krishna's nature or Lord's nature, Vishnu's nature is that he is ready to help any party, whoever takes his shelter. He is not stopping anyone from taking shelter. But nature of demons is they don't want to take Krishna's shelter. Vishnu bhakta smruto daiva sasurastan viparyaya. Typically speaking, the asuras they don't want to take Lord's shelter. If at all they want to, they are just opportunist. They are not very serious about it. They just want their desire is fulfilled and then immediately they want to get rid of Lord. They don't want to surrender unto Lord and follow his instructions. So we see that Krishna, his shelter is available for everyone. But if you are not going to take it, then what to do? So Krishna is nirdosha. There is no vishamta in him. Vaishamya nairgrinne nahi tatha darshayati. सापेक्षत्वाद भगवान में विषमता और निर्घृणता नहीं है. भगवान क्रूर नहीं है और भगवान विषम भी नहीं है. ही इज सम. So we see that if the living entity approaches him, then he will give the mercy. But if they don't approach, then they lose on that front. Just like sun. Now sun is available for everyone, and sun is very good, right? Sunlight, it is giving so many vitamins for the body, vitamin D and all that. So, but imagine someone just stays in house in some dark room day after day after day after day. So for such a person, the access of sun, it's not that he stopped from accessing, but the person is only putting himself in dark room uh, and doesn't want to come out. So then he is losing on the benefit of sun, right? We should come out in the sun. We should take walk in the sun. It's good actually. Sunlight should fall on the body. Arogyam Bhaskara Dikchet, it is mentioned. So if we are in touch with Bhaskara, then we maintain a good health. If we are not keeping ourselves, if we are not putting ourselves to the sunlight all the time, just sitting in the AC and all the time, just with this all artificial facilities, we are inside the room only, then we see that it affects the health. So sunlight is available for everyone, but you have to take it, no? Or Prabhupada gives the example, another example you can remember is of the rains. The rains fall everywhere, right? But if, the rains fall in the fields, the rains fall in the ocean, the rain falls everywhere. But same rain, depending on where it is falling, we can see that the effect will be there. It is said, the rains which fall on, good fertile soil, they produce the best, garden, best flowers, best fruits, vegetables. But the same rain, if it falls on, very infertile kind of land or some stones or like that, so then it will not produce anything, right? So the water is falling everywhere, but what is the land? What's the caliber of the person? That is very important. If our hearts are only infertile, they are hard like sand, so then they will not produce anything which is worthwhile, right? But same mercy of the Lord, when someone hears about that mercy and his heart is transformed, his heart becomes very soft with emotions for the Lord. So we see the devotion arises so much. That's the point. So, yes, Krishna's mercy is for everyone. Point is, are you taking it? Prabhupada was also once asked by devotees. There were some disciples of Prabhupada who were like very close to him, and other devotees would feel somewhat little bit envious, and I mean jealousy was there, that why this devotee only gets mercy so many times, right? It is there always, uh, especially if one is working very hard, then sometimes somebody else who is getting more mercy, one may feel little jealous. It happens in conditioned stage. So they asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, we all are working hard, but we feel that this devotee only gets mercy, and we are not. So Prabhupada first said, no, no, it's not like that. Everyone, you are making advancement in bhakti. But Prabhupada said, but if someone is very eager, he will get more naturally. So he said, it depends on your eagerness. Because that devotee is very eager, so he said that he gets so much mercy. Who was he talking about? He was talking about Tamal Krishna Goswami. So, yeah, because he was so eager to please Prabhupada, so he would also have very special mercy of Prabhupada. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Of course, all other great souls of Prabhupada's army, right? All, so many spiritual masters, exalted spiritual masters in our moment. So we see that it depends on how we take it. Mercy of God, mercy of spiritual master, devotees is there for everyone. But are we taking it? This is the point. Na prahrshet priyam prapya nodvijet prapya cha priyam sthira buddhira sammudho brahmavid brahmani sthitah.
A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, is already situated in transcendence.
Yes. So equanimity is very important. Krishna has been speaking this point so many places, right? By now, you remember even in the Sthita Prajna section, he spoke about this and this aspect, uh, that equanimity. You know. Later in the 12th chapter, he will again speak about this equanimity. Even in the 13th, he will speak about equanimity. Uh, so many places he keeps on speaking about equanimity. Not rejoicing too much when something pleasant is there, and not going in depression when something discouraging happens. That's the nature of this world. Always you will find up and down, up and down. But as a devotee, we keep our enthusiasm steady. If Krishna is giving very favorable circumstances in our life, we are very happy and grateful. Thank you, Krishna. You are encouraging me to serve, and we go ahead serving Krishna. If Krishna is putting some difficult situation in our life, then also we are grateful. Thank you, Krishna. You are making me humble. You are destroying my illusion that I am big controller. Uh, Instead, you are showing me that I am very small, tiny soul. So, in this situation also, I take shelter of your feet, and I want to progress in bhakti. So, in any case, pleasant, unpleasant, a devotee wants to serve Krishna steadfastly. Sthira buddhi, you say. Sthira buddhi rasamudho. One who is situated, one whose intelligence is very steady, and one who is not bewildered, like that. Isn't it? See, we should not be fair weather devotees. Fair weather. Meaning what? When the weather is fair, we have a lot of enthusiasm. But as soon as difficulties arise in weather, meaning I am not saying outside weather, weather meaning the conditions of our life when they are favorable, then we are having great enthusiasm. But as soon as conditions become unfavorable, we don't want to practice bhakti seriously. We become loose in our uh, practices or become very discouraged. No, equanimity. All situations finally are for our good. We may understand it, we may not understand it, but we should have patience. And by patience, you see, eventually we understand Krishna's plan. Or sometimes we may not be able to understand also. That is also okay. Even great souls don't understand Krishna's plans. And that's what Bhishma Dev said to Pandavas. Nahyasya karhichit rajan puman ved viditsitam yadvi jidnyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. Actually, who can understand Krishna's plan? We can understand little bit here, there, but we can't understand fully why Krishna does something in our life. We can understand, at least even if we don't understand big things, we can understand one thing, that he is making me humble. He is making me more serious in bhakti. Probably I was becoming casual in bhakti, so he is sending some difficulties, thereby I will become serious in his bhakti. Like that. So that's the point. Equanimity is very important. So a devotee is not joyful in achieving something, nor does he lament in losing anything. That is called sthira buddhi. Bahya sparsheshva sattatma vindatyatmani yat sukham sabrahma yoga yuktatma sukham akshayam ashnute.
Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme.
Yes. And very important aspect of such a person who is, on the liberated platform is that such a person, he becomes a saktatma, he becomes completely detached from the pleasures which are bahya sparsha, the pleasures which are external pleasures of this world. And he gets pleasure inside, within his heart, within his mind. He relishes Krishna consciousness. So he does not run behind the pleasures of the material world. Thus, such a person, he sukham akshayam ashnute. He enjoys unlimited happiness of, transcendence. He enjoys unlimited happiness of bhakti, if that is a devotee that we are talking about. So, if we take this verse to mean about bhakti, we see that there is unlimited joy in bhakti, right? You know, material pleasures, they are limited actually. Initially, it looks like they are giving great pleasure, but slowly they become very dull and then they become disgusting. Uh, that's the nature of any material object. Initially, it looks like it will give a great pleasure, but it's not like that. After some time, we see it loses all its charm. And then, in fact, it may start giving misery only, uh, this way. So, any pleasures of this world, it's like that. So, a devotee who is on the path of liberation, attaining Krishna's feet. So that's why it's a characteristic thing that such a person, he loses the taste for sensual pleasure and he instead enjoys the pleasure of serving Krishna, pleasure of, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Dasyam, and all that. Uh, So Prabhupada is quoting from Sri Yamunacharya. He writes this verse. यदवधि मम चेता कृष्णपादारविन्दे नवनवरसधाम्नि उद्यतं रन्तुमासीत् तदवधि बत मे स्मर्यमाने भवति मुखविकारः सुष्ठु निष्ठीवनं च. So he says that, Yamunacharya was a king before, Alavandar. you know about Yamunacharya's life. In his childhood, he was actually serving in his guru's ashram, Bhashyacharya. So while he was serving in his ashram, he got into, like, somehow, you know the story. He got into a debate with one Pandit, Raja Pandit called Kolahal. Uh, so he defeated Kolahala, and because of that, he got half of the kingdom. Uh, and thus, from a simple Brahmana boy studying in Gurukul, he became a king, actually, a local king, uh, King Yamunacharya. So after some time, when he was completely overcome by these kingly duties and all, and thus lost all his spiritual inclination. All the time he was into material pleasures and whatever. Basically, as a king, we know that expansion of his kingdom and queens and children and subjects and all that. So his grandfather, he arranged one devotee called Nathamuni to revive him. And it's a beautiful story how Nathamuni brought back Alavandara. And such was the power of association of Nathamuni, and also the power of darshan of Lord Ranganath, that then Yamunacharya just immediately left everything and he became a sannyasi, dedicating everything for Krishna's, Ranganatha's service. So after that, he is writing this verse. He is saying, from the time that now I have been engaging my mind in Krishna's service, so there is such joy, such newer and newer emotions, they come into my heart to serve Krishna. So if at that time I think of this pleasure of the world, the sexual pleasure, uh, so he says that time my uh, lips curl in disgust and I spit at the thought. So you can imagine whatever is considered to be the highest pleasure of the material world. But what is the kind of response that Yamuna is saying, Yamunacharya? Because he's getting such a taste in bhakti, where the sensual pleasure appears to be disgusting, insignificant this way. So it is certainly a very exalted stage. We see that Prabhupada is also writing that the highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure. Uh, But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, he he becomes disinterested in that. In fact, he says that is the test in spiritual realization. Uh, That vairagya comes in. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure go ill together. So the point is, yes, a devotee may have a Krishna conscious family and may have children, which is perfect, which is nice, uh, to raise Krishna conscious children and all. But overall, as one progresses in bhakti, one starts getting away from the sensual pleasures of this world. Whatever, eating, sleeping, mating, all these pleasures, one starts losing the taste in it. Uh, and one starts finding great taste in service to Krishna, service to devotees, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all those aspects. So that's the test, very important. So that's why someone may make a big show of, being very, very advanced in bhakti and all. Like sometimes in Vrindavan, these sahajiyas are there, right? They're crying as soon as you start chanting Hare Krishna or singing some bhajan. They're crying profusely. I have also seen these people, so many of them here. And then you see that they're also attached to abominable habits. They can't give up smoking bidi sometimes, or they are into much abominable activities, intoxication, illicit activities, and all. So then we see that it is just a show, right? It is not any serious spiritual advancement. So this is one of the How much one is detached from the sensual pleasures is a very great test on the path of bhakti. On path of any serious yoga, yoga also, jnana also, people have to become free from the desire to enjoy sensual pleasure. But you see today's yoga or so-called jnanis, so many so-called jnanis went from India to Western world, when Prabhupada was there also. And these people, those who have given up, so to say, to become enlightened jnanis, but oftentimes they ended up, in having some affairs and, falling prey to all these sensual activities. But Prabhupada was such a great soul, right? In spite of, such horrible condition of, US there, such sensual atmosphere, Prabhupada remained always Padma Patra Ivam Bhasa. He was in the material world, but he was never off the material world. He remained transcendental personality. So, yes, otherwise we see that, so many people claiming so much of spiritual advancement, but then they were not up to the mark this way. So, this aspect is very, very important. That's why in these two verses, Krishna speaks also very importantly on this. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
An
Yes, Swami.
intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
Yeah. So this is a very important verse, one of the most important verse in this section of chapters first 1 to 6. So Krishna is just aptly summarizing the nature of material enjoyment. Uh, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. Uh, those pleasures which are coming by samsparsha, uh, connecting the senses with sense objects. Like eyes want to see something beautiful, ears want to hear something melodious, nose wants to smell something aromatic. Similarly, the tongue. Uh, Similarly, the sense of touch. Uh, So that is called samsparshaja bhoga. The bhogas, the material enjoyments which are coming because of contact of sense and sense objects. And Krishna says these are dukkha yonayaha. A very beautiful word, very, you can say, appropriate, precise word. Dukkha yoni. Uh, Dukkha yoni. So yoni is the womb. Uh, So womb delivers a child, right? Uh, Similarly, this is dukkha yoni, meaning this is a womb which will deliver the child of misery. Uh, uh, the material pleasures, they are like dukkha yoni. They are impregnated with misery. So as soon as one tries to enjoy them, you see that they may appear to be enjoyable initially, but it is actually womb of a misery. So it will soon deliver the child of misery. Adyantavantah kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. And because these pleasures, they begin and they end. So that's why buddha na teshu ramate. The intelligent person will not delight in them. Not at all. Because these pleasures come and go. Actually, material pleasure, there is a lot of pleasure in the expectation. Sometimes it's compared to a sandwich. So you have you know, two loaves of bread or something, and in between, there may be some other things like vegetables, this, that, whatever. It depends on what is the sandwich made up of. So, material pleasure is sometimes compared to a sandwich. There is a huge loaf of expectation I will have it, I will have it, I will have it, oh, I will have it. And then one gets that, achieves that, and that is a very thin layer of some cutlet or something, whatever cheese layer in between, uh, or some very thin layer of anything, some sabji or something. Those who are sandwich experts, they can tell whatever. And then after that, there is huge big loaf of again lamentation. Oh, it was not up to the mark. Oh, I lost it. Oh, it is not so good. It is frustrating. Or, there is this whole aspect of once you achieve something, then you have to also work to maintain it, right? So, pleasure aspect, that feeling of, oh, I did it, I got it, that stays for very less time actually. That happiness does not survive for much time. Uh, Sometimes, like for students, they want to crack IIT JEE exams. So, working very hard, 2, 3, 4 years for that. I want to get in IIT. I want to get in. As soon as the result is out, you got into IIT. So there is some great joy. Yes, yes, I did it. Now, that joy doesn't stay for a long time because, it's done. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Yes, nice, you did it. And then you join the IIT, and then it's a different ball game now. There we have to again start working very hard. You have to maintain grades. You have to make sure that you get placed into the best companies. And it's again different, hard work continues. So all that joy of getting into IIT, that's done and dusted. Now next goal, uh, I have to get into whatever, Google or McKinsey. Uh, so it continues. The pursuit continues. Uh, Huge loaf of expectation. I want it, I want it, I want it. And then later is, oh, yeah, now I have to maintain it. I have to maintain, I have to work hard for maintaining. Uh, or worse still will be, I lost it. Right? Sometimes people earn huge money and they have it, but then they lose it also. So that is even more painful this way. So Adyantavantah Kaunteya. It's a very thin layer of enjoyment. Otherwise, most of it is expectation and lamentation. That's it. And material nature makes us go on running after one another, one after another. Okay, I got into the best college, now the best job, now within that best job, the best post position. Then I have to move on top. I have to become, vice president, president, like that. It just goes on life. So not that we discourage ambition, but point is we understand the nature of material world. So we decide, we sort of keep our focus on the spiritual aspect also, that material pleasures, they will just keep me running behind them. So I should not lose the track of spiritual life also. I should make sure that I practice my spiritual life, at least the bare minimum spiritual life, chanting 16 rounds, attending the morning, whatever program that we have, and then, making sure that we meet the Vaishnavas, we attend a program, we render our service weekly or daily, whatever services we have. So, certain basic program of bhakti should never be compromised. And this rest of the things of life, they will go on. So material pleasures this way, they eventually turn into misery only, actually. This is the point. So we can be ambitious, we can accomplish also ambition, but we should not have great hope in material world that these things will make happy. They will not make us happy. They will make us hanker for more. What will make us happy is bhakti, is the solid Vaishnava relationships and the service that we render, hearing Krishna's glory, discussing Krishna's glory. That will actually make us happy. Adyantavantah kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. these material pleasures, they come and go, they begin and they end. That's why the Buddha, the personality who is intelligent, will never ever just enter into, just get caught up into that. So this is the point. So we want to get pleasure in the spiritual life. Rama, in fact, that's the definition of Rama. Rama is who gives the happiness. Ramante yogino nante satyanande chidatmani iti Rama padena sau param brahma abhidhiyate. परम ब्रह्म अभिधीयते, परम ब्रह्म जाना जाता है। किस नाम से जाना जाता है? राम पदेन। द सुप्रीम ट्रूथ इज नोन बाय द नेम राम। व्हाई? राम, बिकॉज रमनते, because the devotees, the great yogis or devotees, they रममान होते हैं, तो जिसमें रममान होते हैं उसको राम कहते हैं। सो कृष्णा or Rama. Rama word can also mean Krishna. You know that. Ramana, Ramayati. जो रममान कराते हैं वो राम, राधा रमण, like that. So Krishna is also known as Rama. And obviously Rama is known as Rama, Shri Ram. And also Balaram is known as Rama. So we see that these are, these are the forms of Lord. So this is the point. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. He wants to have the pleasure of serving the Supreme Lord. He wants to, take pleasure in Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, and all that. He's happy discussing that, serving the devotees like that. So, on one hand, there is pleasure of Krishna consciousness. On other hand, there is sense pleasure, which is available even to the dogs and hogs and people in the hellish life also. Narakastopi, it is said, the Kapila Muni explains that this pleasure of sense pleasure is available even in the hellish planets. When the people are being punished in the hell, even there, between two punishments, those sinful souls who are getting beaten up by Yamadutas, between two punishments, when they have break, there also they want to enjoy the senses with each other. Can you believe it? It is amazing, no? Just next moment they are going to be beaten up severely. But even there, the opportunity to enjoy sensual pleasure is there. So that's why something which is available even in the hell, and the hellish species like, hogs and dogs. So why should in human form of life we should be, bewitched and bewildered and enamored by it? One may accept these things as needed in life. Like salt, it is mentioned that sense gratification should be accepted like salt. Not more, not less, just appropriate quantity. If you take too much finished, you will spit it out. It's not good. And if it's less, then also one will feel like something is lacking. So accordingly, different people have different needs. So they should accept those needs, but keep the focus on Krishna consciousness. We accept that much sense gratification by which mind is peaceful to focus on Krishna consciousness. That's the point. Therefore, those who are true yogis or learned transcendentalists are not attracted by sense pleasures, but rather they ramante yogino nante. So Arjuna is saying, my dear Krishna, yes, agree that the sense pleasures are actually wombs of future suffering. But then it's very difficult to overcome them. What to do? So Krishna says, tolerate. Just tolerate, the mind will keep on cribbing, no problem. You engage yourself in bhakti and tolerate the demands of the mind, tolerate the demands of the senses. If you tolerate it, slowly, slowly, you see, it will go away. Like that. Like it is said that, the way, the animals are brought under control is also by not feeding them. So some animal is there. If you don't feed him, initially it starts becoming very, very ferocious, very angry, uh, starts like roaring or like that. But slowly, slowly, because he is not fed, he becomes so weak, like a tiger. Initially, he may be roaring, but eventually he starts squeaking like a like a mouse. Uh, and then in this way, they bring the control. They bring the tiger under control. Uh, it's not that we are encouraging this sort of controlling the animals and all. But what I'm trying to say is there is a principle that is taught by Shastra that if you don't feed the senses, no, then they will become weak slowly, 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 and then they will, accept with whatever little bit you give. Uh, Otherwise, nature of senses is you give something, they want more. You give something, they want more. Uh, So anything, eating, sleeping, if the body needs a certain food, we give it. Uh, if we start giving more, it wants more, it hankers more, 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 then we start eating, overeating so much. It will cause a lot of diseases also. The body and the mind keeps on demanding more. Sleep also. Um, we sleep whatever is required. If we sleep more, more. It demands even more, more, more. So best is to starve the senses. Not like starve to the degree that we will fall sick or something. But yeah, whatever is needed, that much we can give. We don't have to stuff the senses because their nature is then they will demand more, more, more. Shaknoti haiva yah. So Krishna is telling tolerate, that's the solution. Shaknoti haiva yah sodum prak sharir vimokshanat kama krododbhavam vegam sayukta sa sukhi naraha. Yes.
Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world.
Yeah. So you can see sodhum, shaknoti haiva yah sodhum. So you have to tolerate, Krishna is saying. Acha, tolerate for how many years? 1 year, 2 year? No, Krishna says, Sharir vimokshanat prak. No, you have to tolerate for the entire life. The senses, they will not give up their demands when we become old or something like that. Uh, the demands may be reduced a bit, but it's not like old age means automatically we become sense controlled. Is it like that? It's not like that. So you have to tolerate the demands of the senses and engage in higher duties. Right? Even in old age, the desire to enjoy the senses never goes away. Right? That famous story of, Birbal and Akbar, you must be knowing. They had once discussion on whether with old age the sensual desires go away. And Birbal said, no, they don't go away. So Akbar was not accepting. So Birbal said, no, I'll show you. So, next day they decided to visit an old man who was about to die. And he said to Akbar that, please, Birbal said to Akbar, please also bring your Shehzadi. You please bring your beautiful princess. So he said, why? Why should she come? No, he said, yes, that's what I wanted to show you. Uh, so, as soon as Birbal and Akbar reached to the old man, and then someone told that Akbar and Birbal have come. So he was like, yes, yes, thank you for coming and all. But then behind them, when Shehzadi came, then he wanted to, you know, immediately, see her, catch the sight of her, beauty like that. And then Birbal just, indicated to Akbar, you see, It's not like the time will take away the sensual desires. No, you have to work on it. You have to engage the mind nicely, Krishna's service, bhakti, then the desire will go away. Otherwise, body may become old, but material desires never grow old. Prasangam ajaram pasham. Remember this. भौतिक इच्छाएं कभी बूढ़ी नहीं होती. शरीर बूढ़ा हो जाएगा, शरीर टूट भी जाएगा, तो भी भौतिक इच्छाएं कभी नहीं जाती. वो तो केवल जितना हम आध्यात्मिक इच्छाओं को अनुशीलन करेंगे, तब होगा वो. To the degree we cultivate spiritual desires, to that degree the material desires will go away. Otherwise, they'll not go away just like that. Not like that. So that's why one should tolerate, Krishna is telling. Krishna is recognizing the struggle. देखो कृष्णा कोई ऐसे is not speaking something impractical. He is saying that, so, the sense desires will go away immediately. No, he is saying, nahi shaknoti hai va yah solun. Sharir vimokshanat prak. Maybe till the time you give up the body, you may have to sometimes tolerate material desires. They will not just go away immediately. But yes, if we are engaging ourselves in nice service, bhakti and all, then we see that those desires and all will not influence us. So by these desires, I'm not just saying that desire for sensual pleasure. Take all sort of material desires. And the desire for money, the desire for great power, the desire for prestige, the desire for all sort of material resources you can imagine. So that's the thing. Kama krododbhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi nara. So we have to tolerate kama, we have to tolerate krodha, lobha. Such a person will be happy in this world. Tolerance is needed. So Prabhupada says that forces of talk, forces of anger, forces of mind, right? Vacho vegam, manasah krodha vegam, jivva vegam, udaropastha vegam. Etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithvim sashishat. One is called Goswami if one is able to control these urges. The urges of speaking, urges of anger, urges of mind, stomach, genitals, tongue, all this. This is the point. Yontah sukhontara ramas tathantar jyotirev yah sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodikachati. Yes.
One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme.
Yeah, so that's the point. Rejoicing within, not without. Not running behind external sense objects, but within means, you understand? Within means, spiritual pleasure. The pleasure which one relishes inside, not by contact of, sense and sense objects, but by, internally. So, bhakti and all such pleasures, they are internal, they are within. लभन्ते ब्रह्म निर्वाणम ऋषयः क्षीण कल्मषा छिन्नद्वैधा यतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रता.
Those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts, whose minds are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all sins, achieve liberation in the Supreme.
And then such personalities, we see that they achieve the Brahma Nirvana, they achieve the liberation. They have given up all duality. They are free from all the contamination. They are Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata. They are always engaged in welfare work for everyone. And thus, such people attain the perfection. So these two verses are speaking the same thing, basically, that they attain the perfection. कामक्रोध विमुक्तानां यतीनां यतचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्म निर्वाणं वर्तते विदितात्मनाम्.
Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future.
Yeah. So these verses, as I said, they're talking about the supreme perfection. That's all. Huh? So in purport, Prabhupada gives some interesting example. He says, Darshana dhyana samsparshair matsya kurma vihangamaha swani apatyani pushnanti tathaham api padmaja. Hmm. So Lord Vishnu is saying here to Brahmaji that, just as these fishes, they nurture their offsprings by, looking at them. The tortoises, they nurture their offerings by meditating on them, dhyana. And just as the birds, they nourish their offsprings by touching them, by, cuddling them, touching them. So, similarly, I also take care of my devotees. Supreme Lord is saying. So, can the fishes nourish their, offsprings, meaning those eggs, by just looking at them? Or can tortoises nourish their, babies' offsprings by meditation? Uh, so, how much of this is actually and factually true? Sometimes in Vedic times there may be some, poetic ideas also. Hmm. Sometimes there may be a truth in it also. Uh, Now, from the scientific angle, this may not be acceptable to them because they may say, what is this? It's not that the fishes nourish the, eggs by only looking at them, or same way with tortoises. Uh, Tortoises, yeah, they may be viviparous. And so what I'm trying to say is, in whatever case, one thing is that parents always meditate about their children's welfare, right? And then they will also act on it, no doubt. But the point here, you understand the essential, whether it is a fact or not, that is another story. Uh, Sometimes, when you hear even such examples like Chakora, the Chakora bird, he survives on the, moonlight. That's all. Chakoras, they just survive on the light of the moons and the stars, especially uh, like that. Or Chataka bird, it is mentioned that he survives only on the uh, water, like the rains of Swati Nakshatra or like that. So sometimes these ideas may be also somewhat poetic ideas, Kavi Kalpana or Kavi Prasiddhi. In philosophical language, it is called Kavi Prasiddhi. It's a popular idea amongst the poets. How much of it is true, how much of it is not, whether it is true in the upper planets or like that, maybe not on the Earth planet, or maybe not here on um, this tract of Aryavart or whatever. So don't worry, don't get into that. One time, one boy was very much arguing with me on this Chakora and Chataka and all. That does something like that exist? So I explained to him that it is Kavi Prasiddhi. You have to understand that the essential point there is not so much of the example, but what is conveyed through that. So what is conveyed through this also is this, that Lord always meditates on the nourishment of his devotees and arranges the situation by which they can come back to him. See, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far away from his Lord abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of him constantly. So Krishna and devotees, maybe they are situated a great distance apart. Lord is there in the abode, devotee is there here. But devotee, by thinking about Lord, he gets nourishment, and Lord also thinking about devotee, he avoids the nourishment. This verse is talking more from actually Krishna's perspective. Krishna is telling to, Vishnu is telling to Brahma that just as these fishes, tortoises, and birds, they maintain their offspring, similarly, I also do like that. Tatha aham api, meaning he maintains the devotee like that. But yes, as Prabhupada is explaining, the devotee and Krishna, they are distance apart, but devotee also meditating about the Lord, he gets nourishment, and that nourishment is actually coming by Krishna reciprocating this way. So that's how we see that these devotees or these Nishkam Karma Yogis, depending on their paths, they get nourishment. So now Krishna will introduce the next the next chapter's topics, and then he ends with the peace formula. So Krishna says basically after Nishkam Karma Yoga is perfected, then these people go to the next path, which is the path of Dhyana Yoga. They practice Dhyana Yoga. So that's why he speaks. Sparshan kritva bahirbahyam चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवो प्राणापानौ समौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनो बुद्धिर्मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छा भयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः. Yes, Mataji.
Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence, the transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated.
Yeah, so all this will be discussed in the next chapter in details. This process. So we'll not get into that for now. It is eightfold Ashtanga Yoga system. So anyway, it will be discussed in the next. Bhokta. So Krishna ends with the peace formula. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suradham sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim rachati.
A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading loudly and clearly. Thank you. Yes. So, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. So, this verse is very important. Note this verse. It is known as Shanti Sutra, peace formula. So, peace, right? People talk about peace. So, Prabhupada would quote this verse whenever they would talk about peace. Shantim Richati, attains Shanti. So, what is this? What is the way to attain Shanti? This verse is telling. So knowing three things, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam, knowing Krishna to be the enjoyer or beneficiary of all the sacrifices and penances. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, knowing he to be the proprietor of all the planets. And Suradham Sarva Bhutanam, and knowing him to be the greatest friend and well-wisher of everyone. Three things. Knowing Krishna to be the ultimate beneficiary, meaning everything should be for his enjoyment. Knowing him to be the proprietor of everything. And still, see, somebody is actually proprietor of everything and somebody is enjoyer of everything. Such a person then may be very proud, and maybe sometimes such a person may be also very you could say he is very cruel. He may be very cruel and he may be very demanding, everything for his pleasure. Hmm. He may be very insensitive towards other. Like many dictators were like that, right? You know, many of these Roman emperors like Nero and many of them, right? They were just devoted to sense pleasure and just enjoyment without any regard for anything for subjects or anything. Uh, like many emperors in this world like that. So Krishna, although he is the ultimate enjoyer, beneficiary of everything, and although he's proprietor, but he's actually also Suradam Sarvabhutanam. He's the greatest well-wisher of everyone. It is amazing nature, no? People have very great wealth and great power, proprietorship. So still for them to be, most loving, well-wishing friend of everyone, that is very rare in this world. Very rarely people are like that. Otherwise, absolute power, corrupts absolutely. Power corrupts, they say. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That way. So Krishna is the most powerful Lord, but yet he is the most loving well-wisher of each and every living entity. And we see that, right? That's how, even in the battlefield of Kurukshetra and, in all his dealings, on one hand, Krishna is, Dwarkadhish, but on the other hand, someone like Sudama, he brought him and made him sit on the bed which is meant for, him and Rukmini. Krishna's and Rukmini's bed, like it is such an exalted and intimate thing, right? Krishna is loving Sudama so much that he doesn't mind him sitting on the, bedstead of his beloved Rukmini Devi. So it's like that. That's his nature, actually. He's, someone who loves his devotees, loves every living entity very much. He's greatest well-wisher and reciprocator as a friend, as a master, as a son, as a lover, everything. In all ways, he's like that. Surudam Sarvabhutana. So when one knows these truths and lives his life accordingly, one will attain the lasting peace. That's the point. So Prabhupada would say that without universal fatherhood, how can you expect universal brotherhood? A very logical question he would ask. And they talk about universal brotherhood, Vaishvik Bandhuta. But without common father, how will you speak about, brotherhood? So we have to recognize this aspect that the resources of this world, actually, they belong to Supreme Lord. And we can accept our quota, right? Just like we learned in Ishopanishad also. Ma kasyasvid dhanam. One should not try to encroach upon others, like that. So the point is that in this world, because they don't accept that everything belongs to Krishna, Ishavasyam, idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. So because they don't accept Ishavasyam, so then there is no Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita Magradha Kasyasvidhanam. If you don't accept only that the resources belong to Lord, then you will not also speak about quota. You will feel like, let me snatch whatever I can snatch, that is mine. The whole world belongs to me. So this is what happens in the international level of wars at the country level and all that. Of course, these things are easy to speak, but not easy to implement, no doubt. But at least there should be an effort on that aspect. God consciousness indeed helps to resolve the conflicts. And of course, misunderstanding in God consciousness can cause religious wars also. But point is, yes, the greater human massacres and loss of lives has happened by wars which were not related to religion, like civil war, like independence war. They have taken greater casualties. World War First, World War Second, there was nothing religious in that, right? But they have taken greater lives than the wars which are caused due to whatever that misunderstanding of religion. So even data-wise, it's not right to say that the religions have caused wars and this thing. So what I want to say is finally that this Shanti Sutra that should be remembered. Thus, one will become completely peaceful. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of 5th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Karma Yoga or action in Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much for your patient listening. So we have some time, so I'm going to go ahead with chapter 6. But before that, do you want to ask anything on chapter 5th? And this chapter is finished. Again, to revise, we talked about how Karma Yoga is superior to the work. Karma Sannyasat Karma Yogo Vishishyate. Then we talked about Nishkam Karma Yogi. We talked about Kartritva, the doership. Then we talked about vision of Jnani. And the essential point was of that equanimity, Samadarshina. And finally, Krishna spoke about the peace formula. Okay. So that completes the chapter 5. Hare Krishna. Is there anything you want to ask to connected to any verse? What I'm going to do is I'm going to end this chapter today and tomorrow. So tomorrow we will start at 8:30, but I will end only after completing this chapter 6. So we may go up to, I think, 2.5 hours or so. Tomorrow it's possible that we will need 2.5 hours. But yes, we will end this chapter because I also have some engagement starting from the next week, by which I won't be available in the evenings. And I'm sure all of you are also engaged in book distribution and other services. So yes, we should be able to end this chapter. Main discussion of this chapter is in verses 33 to 47. So we'll give time for that nicely. Before that, it's okay. It is just some discussion about Ashtanga Yoga. Okay. Anything you want to ask on this chapter? Any quick question or any comment or any? No. You are one of the batches which is most silent. In my batches, actually, not people are not so silent. There will be a lot of questions, and yeah, I'm sure you are worried that we should not extend the sessions. It may be there. Yeah, but otherwise, yes, I get a lot of questions in my sessions. So many.